Hello and welcome to Vision Academy. In this video, we are going to learn parameterized constructor. Let us have a definition. A constructor that can have one or more arguments is called parameterized constructor. Let us have the features of parameterized constructor. First feature is the parameterized constructors can be overloaded, as the constructor consisting of different return types and different number of arguments. Hence, parameterized constructors can be overloaded. Second feature is for an object created with one argument, constructor with only one argument is invoked and executed. Whenever we create any object with only one argument, then the constructor must have only one argument and it has to get executed. The third one is the parameterized constructor can have default arguments and default values. Now let us take a programming example. Here I'm going to write the preprocessor directive hash include in angular brace. I'm going to write iostream.h header file. The next preprocessor directive is hash include, and in angular brace I'm going to write console input output.h header file. Now I'm going to write a class called sample curly open brace, and here in a private section I'm going to declare two variables of type integer a and b. Now in a public section I'm going to define a parameterized constructor. So definition of constructor says that constructor is a special member function which has got the capabilities to initialize data members of the class. An important feature of the constructor is the function name or the constructor name should be same as that of the class name, and there should not be any return type. So here class name is sample, so I have to write sample, and inside of the round bracket you can have more than one argument. Here we have got two data members, hence I have to take two arguments. I'll write here int x and int y. So definition of constructor says that constructor is a special member function which is used to initialize data members of the class. So data members a and b will be initialized with value x and y. So here a is initialized with value x and b is initialized with value y, and curly closing brace. In order to display the result, we have to have a user defined function. Here I'm going to write void display without any arguments, curly open brace. Here I'm going to write cout statement, stream insertion operator. In a double quotation mark, I'm going to write a is equal to value of a will be printed. Then in a double quotation mark, I'll write b is equal to, and the double quotation mark, and b value will be printed over here. Next curly closing brace, and this curly closing brace for the termination point of the class definition, and it must be terminated by semicolon. Now we are going to create the main function. So void main to create object of this class called sample. So now curly open brace, the class name is sample, and I'm going to write yes as an object. As soon as the object of the class is created, automatically the constructor will initialize the values of both x and y to a and b. Here, for example, I'm going to write 10 and 20 and put semicolon. So 10 is stored in x and 20 is stored in y. In turn, x is initializing the value to a and y is in turn initializing value to b. So that will be displayed in display function. Now I'm going to call this particular function explicitly by using this object. I'm going to write yes dot display. Then I'll write get ch function, then curly closing brace. So once we compile and run this program, so it starts executing from main function. So first of all, it is going to call this constructor, that is parameterized constructor, by passing 10 and 20 to both x and y arguments. In turn, x and y are initializing to a and b. Again, control transfers back to main function, and it is going to execute the next statement, yes dot display. So this is a function call. Whenever the compiler encounters with this function call, control jumps to wide display. Here, wide display consisting of cout a is equal to, so it is going to print a is equal to, value of a is what, 10, and then b is equal to 20 will be printed. Now let us go for execution of this program. Here you can see I have already written this program to save your time. Let us compile this program by pressing Alt F9. Here it is showing success, that indicates there is no syntax error. I'll press enter. Let us execute this program by pressing Ctrl F9. Here you can see a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20 is displayed.